This is an Ellis Mowers and More small engine repair. Stay connected on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers and More. Comments or questions? Leave them below or email me, ellis@ellismowers.com. Parts used in today's repair are found using the links in the description below. And as always, like and subscribe for more small engine content. On today's small engine repair, we're going to look at this Craftsman ZTS7500 zero turn. One of the Craftsman mowers that was not made by AYP. This is made by Simplicity. So not a lot of these out here. But it's funny because Simplicity mowers seem like they're the most complicated mowers to work on. But regardless of that, you'll kind of see why here coming up. It's got the V-twin in it, 26 horsepower, 50-inch cut, Briggs & Stratton. Story behind this machine, I, back in the spring, thought that I could turn this thing around quick and make double my money, essentially, or maybe even a little bit more. Popped up about 15 minutes away from me on Marketplace for $500, running and driving and cutting. I guess it had sat for a period of time. Well, I got it. I cut the grass with it one day, but I guess there was some water in the fuel or something, I'm not sure, but it slowly has been running worse and worse, and now I can't even get it started at all. So the guy apparently had put a carburetor on it. The carburetor looks like it had been recently replaced, and I had sold it to somebody else, but then it wasn't acting right, and so I stand behind my stuff. It's back here. Also, I had to work on one of the deck spindles, I think, and something was going on with the blades where they were loose too. It's been like 6 months, so I can't remember because I've probably worked on a couple hundred machines since I've even touched this. Just been chilling underneath my tent back there, and make sure it's off so I don't burn the battery down, or burn the battery out. Electric mower lift. It's a compact zero turn. It's actually got a weight on the front because a lot of the weight's on the back, especially when you put, this thing holds at least 4 gallons of gas, so it's ready for the cutting, so to speak. But the main issue I got to get sorted out is the running issue. I have to put a deck belt on it. The deck belt's sitting there on the seat. I'm pretty sure I put bearings in one of the spindles because I thought the bearings were going out. And these spindles are enclosed spindles where you cannot replace the bearings unless you cut them out, which is what I did. And I'll probably show that to y'all a little bit later in this video. But pretty sure that the guy who got it from me was just cutting grass way too low and way too thick and smoked the belt on it. So I don't think there's really any deck issues with this. I think the main issue we've got to sort out is the running issue. So, given all of that, let me go ahead and give y'all a little bit of a look around of this machine before we get working on it. So let me give y'all a look around, and you'll kind of see why I say that this is not very fun to work on, and this is also why I have not worked on it yet. I'll get the arms and stuff out of the way. The mower itself's in decent shape. A couple of small tears in the seat. Like I said, I've had it underneath a tent, one of them 10 by 20 Harbor Freight tents for about 6 months or so. It was a little bit cleaner, obviously, when I got it, and thought that I could quick flip this, but I know better sometimes. I'm just going to stick to trade-ins from now on. So there's the engine, and as you can see, what I have to do in order to essentially even get the carburetor off of this thing. Well, just to get the cover off, I've got to take this whole bracket off back here in the back. And then to, I think, take the carburetor off, I think I may even have to take the muffler off of this thing, which is just insane. But we got a lot of gas in here, so I want to drain all that gas out and get it low just in case there's some water in it. I don't want to be trying to run bag gas and stuff in this. This is their ELS, Extended Life 26 horsepower Briggs & Stratton. At one point it did have a bagger. I'll probably just take this mechanism off because it's more in the way than anything right now. But the battery was new when I got it. The carburetor, I believe, has been recently replaced from what I can tell, because it's a little bit different design than what would have came on it. We'll see how well that works later on, I guess. But it does turn over. It did try to start right there, which is crazy. Maybe a little bit of residual a little bit of a residual from where I sprayed some starting fluid, but no big deal. We'll see. Hopefully we can get this thing running good again. Like I said, it was running, driving, and cutting, just not very well. I thought it was good enough. It kind of cleared itself up there, and I thought it was good enough to sell. Apparently it was not, so that's why it's back, and that's why I've had it for 6 months. But the reason why I brought it in now, these things right here usually will sell any time of year. People love zero returns. Probably will get still double my money. This is probably like a $1,200 zero return. It's not crazy. If I get $1,000 for it, I'll be happy. Get it out of here, get it going. So first thing I'm going to do, try and get this thing running. I want to see if I can drain some of this gas out here. Just about ate it. So that I can get all of this engine covers and brackets and mess off of this, so that I can actually access the engine, pull the cover off, and then access the carburetor. So that in itself is going to be fun. Well, we're going to get the engine cover off of this next, first actually. And what we got to do in order to do that is we've got some bolts that we've got to get out down here on the bottom. We've got to take this bracket off right here, which it appears it's on with 2 bolts on that side and another 2 bolts on this side. We've got to pull this out. So it looks like the gas tank is part of that to a degree as well. Let's see, it looks like I have to take that bolt and loosen it. So it looks like a bunch of 1/2-inch bolts. I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. I got to get this crossbar out, and then after that we'll be able to lift this cover up and lift this shroud up, and we can get inside the carburetor. This carb ain't been right ever since I got it, so I just got to get into it and work it a little bit to see what we can do. Alright, so I've got the point where it's carb's ready to come off, hopefully. What you have to do is, I had to take that whole bracket off, which is just a bunch of bolts that were bolted down here. The bolts for the cover, which are about 6, 7, 3/8 inch, lifted up, 4, 5, 16ths for the flywheel fan, and then 4 bolts for the carburetor intake, where it goes into the intake there. So now that I've got that done, hopefully I've got enough leverage. Oh, I need to get the choke off as well. Get my 5/16ths. That. Sometimes I have to also take off. Just screw that back in for now. Sometimes I also have to take off a couple other things. Just kind of depends. A choke lever in too. That explains why it's a little bit hard to pull. That's all right though. I don't know if it was routed correctly, but either way. So now there's a couple linkages that you've got to get off. You have to take off the what is that? The anti-backfire solenoid wire. That was working, so that's not the issue. What we were having. Got to take this off. This is like a newer style carb setup here. So I don't know if he pulled it off of another engine or what, but What on earth did he do here, though? My goodness. I guess he shoved the whole tube in there. He did. So he shoved not only where it goes in, but also the back portion of it. So now, like, the whole shebang's in here, not including the backing portion of the seal. So I've got to get that out. Alright, there we go. So we got that off. That gives you a little bit more freedom to get off the linkages and stuff, which is just this one linkage on the bottom here that we've got to get off. So turn the carb a little bit. And we should have it off now. Okay, so we got this whole shebang off. Looks like it's got bent up a little bit, but that wouldn't be the reason why it was running as poorly as it was. So let me get it onto the bench over here. Turn it over. See what the heck has happened to this thing. Alright, so if we look down here in the bowl, you can see that we've got quite a bit going on here. We've got quite a bit of trash in the jets here as well. So let's pull this off. Needle and seat. We'll see if we can get these two screws off for these jets here. Get all this nice and clean. Inside here. So yeah, these jets are, they're not necessarily gummed up, but I'm thinking that on the top side here, they probably are. Then on the bottom here, we've got a bunch of junk down in the bottom of the carb. So I'm going to clean all this stuff out. I actually may put it in the ultrasonic just so it gets a little bit of in-depth. What I'm also going to do is come over to the top side here, pull this off. And spray some stuff through there. So let me grab some carb spray. We'll see if we can do this very quickly. Get this thing back going again. I need a little bit of a break. I've had some crazy stuff happening with another machine in here, and I need number one, I need content for y'all. Number two, I need a break. Get something good happening around here, hopefully. Let's see if we can see what we can do. Spray these out. Those tubes are completely blocked, I think. Stuff runs out of the, yeah. I think those tubes are actually completely blocked. Because there are those right there. There we go. They were. How about that? Kind of crazy. Alright. So that's good. I think that was our main issue. We've got to get some of the stuff out of here, though, too. Just a bunch of junk, rust, corrosion, and all that stuff that was built up in here. So And these jets look pretty clean, which is good. So that's good. Alright, so I think that quick clean right there is going to get us where we need to be. Alright, given all that, I'll go ahead and throw it all back together. And hopefully this thing will run good again. So I'm going to go ahead and put it all back together. Y'all didn't have to see hardly any of that, but that's okay. See what we've got. Alright, I drained the tank and put some fresh fuel in, because I think the fuel in it had some water in it, like condensation. Either from where it was sitting or if bad gas got put in, and I'm thinking it may have been the latter. But we'll put this clip back. Well, we'll try and put it back on. There we go. That top piece is a little bit wonky, but so it should run now, theoretically. So we'll see. Got all that up. We'll let it start. Hopefully it's pumping gas in there. That's on. That's on. Could have a clogged fuel filter too. You never know. Probably need to make sure that it's getting good. It's getting gas up here. I actually don't think it is. And I forgot to tighten that bolt right there, so that was good. But it's not be getting any gas up here. It's not getting any gas up there. But that, either way, that carb needed to be cleaned. So I've either got a swollen or a pinched fuel line, a bad fuel pump, or a bad fuel filter somewhere. Let me get this tightened up and we'll investigate. See what we can find. Like I said, it was running a couple months ago, so I do know that it was doing okay at that point. So let's see. How's that fuel filter look? Let's see if I blow some air into this, if it'll. Okay. So I got that. I got it to. I don't know if I just needed to prime it or what, but I don't know if y'all saw a little bit of fuel came out up here. Let's see if it. The pulse line looks good. So I'm wondering if I just have a bad fuel pump. Very possible. I may swap that out. It's just a couple of bolts over here. Let's see. There we go. I think there was something on top of the little bulb here that I guess dents. So I just rubbed it, and it looks like it's pulling gas again. But like I said, this thing's never run right. So hopefully it runs right now. In multiple senses. Runs right now as in like runs right now, and runs right now as in it runs right correctly. currently. So let's see. Should get some gas up now. Okay, it's good. Just gonna double check the oil. I haven't touched it in a while, but it is a little bit low. Let me wipe it off and just make sure. I don't see any leaks or anything on it. Hey, we're gonna add a little bit of oil. I'm gonna add some oil. Actually, I'll do that real quick here. I don't want to do all this work just to blow the engine up. So let's see. Oil. Probably needs about 12 ounces or so. Probably the rest of this bottle at least. Alright, let me get this out of the way again. That should be enough oil to at least run it here. It wasn't, it was a little low. It's probably half a quart low. We're on the add mark now, so that should be enough. Alright. Please! One thing I'm noticing is that the ignition coils are way out of alignment. So I gotta get a business card. That's probably part of the issue, is it's not sparking as good. The coils are way out of alignment. I'll show y'all. Are way out of spec. So they're gapped way too far. So that's probably part of it. Why it doesn't want to spark, or why it doesn't want to run very well. So I'm going to loosen them up with a 5/16, get a business card and shove them in there where the magnet is, and hopefully that'll help that, and maybe that'll cause it to run better, because that carb is pretty clean overall. I don't know though. I'm going to do that very quickly, and I'll show you all that here as well. As you can see, the business card can slide in there very easily. It's very loose. So we're going to loosen this up, push it in. And it should be pretty difficult to get this out. That's better. On this side right here, same deal. A little bit too far gapped. So we'll let that do its thing. Gap much better. Alright, so given that, let's see if it'll run any better. Because I want to start it out and show you. That starting to shoot gas out from where it has been compromised. So, oh man, what a day. So this carb's essentially junk because this piece right here has come out. Oh, man, people sometimes. The man literally put silicone in it so it stayed down there because he broke it off or something. That's ridiculous. Let's see. Alright, we're going to put another carb on it. I got another one somewhere that's good. And so I'm going to take care of that. Do exactly what I just did with this one, except with that one, and we'll be good. Alright, so I swapped the carbs. I had one that was basically a carbon copy, except it did not have jets in it, which I found out after the fact. I'll explain why it was flooding out on the other machine that I had. But sounds worlds better. I'm going to get the covers and stuff back on it, air filters and all that good stuff. The little top bracket up top here. And hopefully we're done with this running wise. I'll get it out here in just a minute. It's lunchtime though. Good news, y'all. I think the running problems are sorted out. I got it all back together. We're going to pull it out. I am going to show you all that it drives and everything. Driving wise, it was fine. And then we've got one more thing to do after that, which is the secondary deck belt, which I've had this thing like 6 months. Waiting its turn here, so. one of those was stuck, or one of those was on. Seems good, which is good. So now what I've got to do is I've got the belt, I just had it, right here. Had it sitting under a tent so long the humidity has gotten to it, but it's I believe it's a 91 inch 12-7673 rotary belt. So I had put one on, or actually this mower had new belts on it. When I sold it, I think the guy just cut grass that was way too thick for it and burned it up. So also this thing had loose blades for a period of time, and so I need to make sure that the blades aren't loose anymore as well. I don't think they are. I gotta remember how this thing was routed though. So simplicities are not the easiest to change the belts on. They're not too bad either. Let me turn this on and lower the... That's good enough. So they're not the easiest to put deck belts on, but we'll make sure everything works. Oh, I think that pulley may have decided to leave the chat. That may have been it right there. Yeah, that's what happened. I think the bearings went out on that pulley. Oh, man. Let me work on that a little bit. Get some light down in there. I know y'all can't see it very well right now. I just want to make sure everything's straight with that before we put on... Let's see. May just need some WD-40 since I haven't moved it in about 6 months. And then we'll keep on cruising on and see what we can manage here with the belt. Alright, lower deck belt is on, secondary deck belt, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't terrible to do here, but what you have to do is pull this lever right here in, take the top belt off and just kind of tuck it back to the back. There's a spring right here that you got to pull so it relieves the tension off of this. Also, you have to get the belt underneath the spring, so it's going to come off because of that as well. And then you just route it around. Left pulley, middle pulley, tension pulley, right pulley, and back around, and you're good to go. Tension on this belt's decent. The spring's a little worn down there. But we're going to still test it out and see if she'll cut. Like I said, I don't know. I can't remember what I've done with the blades. It has honestly been 6 months since I've touched this mower. So I'm going to get y'all out here where we are out here and see if it turns. everything seems to be working much better now, which is good. Wearing the belts in on the top. The bottom belt is pretty good also. So just need to give it a little bit of run time. I think I'm just going to run it up and down the driveway because we just have some nasty weather right now. Rain and all that stuff around here. But it's warm, which is much better than it has been the past week around here, which is just cold. It's not raining currently, so what I can do is go ahead and pull the pressure washer out, give this a wash, and we're pretty much done with it at this point. Like I said, I've been wanting to get to this. What it takes a lot of time for me is to take the initiative and put it in the garage. And when I put it in the garage, then it usually will get done quicker because it's in my way, and I don't want it to be in my way. And as you can see, I got a bunch of stuff in my way that I need to clean out here in the coming days. But regardless, got this thing back going again, which is good. I do need to top the oil off. I don't want to forget that, but I'm going to give it a good wash, just a good little detail because it does deserve it, and run it for a little bit just to make sure everything is good on it, as good as I can given the current situation when it comes to grass, when it's December and nothing's growing, and I've already picked up my yard because everything already fell from the trees. But we'll give it a little run around, give it a good cleaning. If any other issues arise or pop up, I'll let you know. I do need to put air. I'm going to put some ATF in the tires, the rear tires, because they seem to be leaking a little bit. But when all that's said and done, we'll be done with this thing, hopefully, and hopefully for good. I've had this thing. I'll retell the story in the end if y'all missed it in the beginning about how I got this and what I've been through with it so far. Got it just before the darkness. I think it's about to run out of gas. Not a lot of gas in it. Yeah. But y'all saw in the previous clip, I just put some gas in it. I don't have time, really have a lot of time before dark. But y'all saw in the previous clip the thing's running like a top. I've gone up and down the driveway a few times with it just to make sure that everything's good on it. And it is. So I put the deck belt on. I put ATF in the rear tires. I believe that both the front tires are tubed, which is good. So I could shine this up a little bit. It actually doesn't look too bad. It was taken really good care of by the previous owner. I think he bought it either new or lightly used. And I still don't know, like, if this thing's actually got 1,000 hours on it, or if he just forgot to shut it off for a long period of time or something, like for a week, and just forgot about it. But yeah, everything's good on it again. There's no blade noise. The spindles are pretty quiet. And the deck could be a little bit better, but it is a Simplicity deck, 50-inch, so I've never seen one of these decks rotted out before, but then again, I don't see a lot of Simplicity mowers. Kind of cool, though. I'll take it. I mean, so let me give you all the breakdown of, hopefully it doesn't rain on me here, but of this machine. So it's currently December. Back in, it's either April or May, I bought this thing. It was like 20 minutes up the road for $500. It said it was running and driving. He didn't lie, that's for sure. Guy used to work in law enforcement and stuff too. But when I got it home, when I got there, it was kind of running. I'm like, he said he'd put another carburetor on it. Not too long ago, but I think it had set up for about a year, and so I guess it was gummed up, or y'all know sometimes these carburetors, them aftermarket ones, are just terrible either way. It didn't really run all that much better after I cleaned it, but then I found the little elbow issue, and so we just put an OEM Briggs on it, and that cured the running problem. But I got it for $500. I tried to quick flip it. Didn't work out very well. Guy was looking for something. I had this, and I think I let him have it for like $1,000 or something like that. Still, it didn't run right, and then the deck belt ended up shredding on it, so I just ended up getting it back from him, and he ended up going to buy a new one or something. That particular customer, probably a good one not to have. Man was pretty hard on his equipment, from what I could tell. Pretty hard on this for the amount of time he owned it, but nothing that we couldn't fix. I bought the belt 6 months ago, and it's just been sitting in my tent in the backyard. I was kind of not looking forward to having to take all that bracing and stuff off to get the carburetor off, and the good news is it ended up happened that I had just took a V-twin carb off another machine yesterday for another machine, which I'll probably see a little bit later. That was a whole saga, so I wanted something, I wanted to get this thing right today, because I feel like I needed to be productive. This, I don't know, in this time of year, in the spring, I'm probably going to list it for like $1,200, because it is a functioning zero turn. It runs good, it drives good, it looks good. Probably going to list it for $1,200. I might sell it. And people buy zero turns all the time. I really want to get $1,000 for it though. That way I kind of double my money in a way, but it's just taken me so long to get it going. I just want this one kind of out of the way. Move on to a new home. It runs great. Y'all see it drives fine, cuts fine, fixed the rear tires. A lot of the stuff was done right before I got it, like a new battery, and quite a few other things. I had to change the air filter setup because of the way that air filter intake was on the new carburetor. I thought it was the same, but it's just slightly different. So I put a different air filter in it, which is still in good shape. Electric deck lift, I think I showed y'all. So pretty stout machine. Simplicities though, it's kind of odd because they're some of the most complicated mowers to work on in my opinion too. This one, not terrible, but it's very compact, which is a good thing if you like a smaller zero turn and not, you know, not a huge one. You need to get maybe a little bit more compact areas. This will probably do the trick. You don't see a ton of these out anymore. I don't think they were really bought that much to begin with. So if you have one of these, hopefully what I've done in this video has helped you out a little bit. I'm kind of burnt out between yesterday and today on another project, which y'all see on the channel here coming up fairly soon. But yeah, we'll send it on. Hopefully it'll sell pretty quickly. Like I said, with the amount of hours showing on the hour meter, probably $1,000 to $1,200. Don't really have a lot of money, don't really have a ton of time into it. I have just an afternoon into it this afternoon, getting it back going. And really maybe a couple afternoons of work back in the spring, but just to get the money and get it going and get moving, I'm looking forward to that. Let me know if you've had any experience with these ZTS7500s or any Simplicity zero turn. Simplicity made Craftsmans are not really that readily available or that popular. You don't see many of them around, and so kind of neat to get this one in, work on it, get it going, and hopefully get it gone. I do appreciate y'all watching the small engine repair. Hopefully y'all found it helpful. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. And I will catch y'all on the next video. We got a lot of projects coming up, hopefully this winter, if I can get out here between the product reviews and the machines I've got and the repairs that I've got. We'll get more videos out for you and keep building up the library here on the channel. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you next time.